Really? The whole reason I started this. So there'd be like a user agreement. If there's not one, then I'm just gonna have to end this. Can't say words. There we go. That's what I like to see. This might be long. Terms of service. Square Enix. Terms of service. The following Square Enix terms of service explain the conditions that apply when. Oh my god, I can't even read already. That apply when you use our various games, software, products, services, websites, accounts, applications, online stores, features, content, and activities. The services and each a service. These terms of service govern your use of any service that posts or links to these terms of service or is owned, controlled, or published by or for Square Enix Incorporated, Square Enix Limited Liability Corporation, Square Enix Limited, Crystal Dynamics Incorporated, Eidos Interactive Corporation, or subsidiaries, Square Enix, or we are, or us. In addition to these terms of service, separate guidelines, rules, or terms of service or sale, additional terms may apply to the use of a particular service. Where applicable, these additional terms will be made available to you before you start using any service for which they are relevant. To the extent there is a conflict between these terms of services or of any additional terms, the additional terms will control unless expressly stated otherwise. Certain services we offer are not governed by these terms of services, but rather by separate terms of service and other policies that shall be notified to you when you access or use such services. In the absence of any notification that such alternative terms apply, these terms of service shall govern. Before using the services, you must read and accept these terms of service and any additional terms, as well as the Square Enix privacy notice, which incorporated by reference into these terms of service. Damn it, music! If you do not agree to these terms of services, or do not agree to the Square Enix privacy or any additional terms, please uninstall and discontinue use of the services. Oh shit, I gotta yell. Many types of disputes that may arise in connection with your access to or use of terms may be subject to mandatory arbitration. Please read the arbitration provisions in Section 14 of these terms of service carefully before using our service. Table of contents. Region, limited license, use restrictions, use services by cheering, account registration, virtual credits. Can I get out? No? Okay, here we go. Oh, that's weird. Purchases from Square Enix, user-generated content, DMCA, notices, community guidelines, customer service requests, dealings with third parties, wireless features, binding arbitration and waiver of class actions. Wow, look at that. Disclaimer of representations and warranties, limitations of liability. Wow. Waiver of injunctive and other equitable relief, additional provisions. It's kind of okay. Region. These terms of services are a contract between you and Square Enix affiliated your geographical location identified below region. For the American region, Square Enix means Square Enix Incorporated 999N Pacific Coast Highway 3rd floor El Segundo, California 90245 United States. You are in the American region if you are in North America, South America, Central America, American Samoa, Guam, the United States minor outlying islands, or the Caribbean. I mean, I guess that's North America. For the EMEA Asia region, Square Enix means Square Enix Limited Co. number 01804186240 Blackfriars Road, London. That's oh, they got weird shit. 8NW, excuse me, United Kingdom. You're in the EMEA Asia region if you are in Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, or any territory not identified in this section 1. That's pretty generalized. Is that a word? I did not know notwithstanding was a word. Holy shit. Notwithstanding the foregoing, you may not use the services if you are located in a territory in which use of the services are prohibited by applicable law or these terms of service. That's, I mean, I can read it. It's just it confused me. That's all. Limited license. Square Enix and its licensors own and reserve all rights, title, and interest in the services and the associated intellectual property in the services, including audio, visual elements, and other copyrightable materials. Wow. Such as the look and feel of the services. Wow. Trademarks, logos, trade names, service marks, excuse me, and trade identities of Square Enix and their licensors, patentable subject matter, and any forms of intellectual property. Any forms. Subject to your continuing compliance to these terms of service, Square Enix grants you a limited, non-exclusive, cancelable, non-assignable, non-sub-licensable, and non-transferable license to use of services for you personal, non-commercial use. Square Enix may immediately suspend or terminate the availability of some or all of the services for any reason. It doesn't matter what reason, they can do it forever, or for whatever, in Square Enix's sole discretion without any advance notice of liability. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Use restrictions. In order to use the services, you may not do any of the following: violate any applicable law or regulation, use the services for commercial or political purposes. Everyone does that. Copy, scrape, reproduce, redisplay, reverse engineer, decompile, hack, or modify the services. I feel like that's semantics. Including any server or network used to provide the services, except to the external enforcement of the foregoing is prohibited by applicable law. Access or attempt to access an account, defined below, that does not belong to you. Well, that makes sense. Interfere with another user's use of services, cheat, or create an unfair advantage over other users. Create an unfair advantage? Wow, that could be taken a lot of different ways. But interfere with any security feature of the services, use of unauthorized server to emulate or access the services, intercept, mine, or collect information from the services or its users without authorization, violate the intellectual properties or other rights of Square Enix or others, or remove any trademark, copyright, or other intellectual property notice. Which makes sense. We may immediately suspend or terminate your access to the services if you violate any of these restrictions or if otherwise violate these terms of service. Use of the services by children. The services are not directed to children under the age of 13, and Square Enix will not knowingly collect personal information from anyone under the age of 13. They shouldn't at all, but whatever. Or other applicable minimum age in your place of residence without... Where the fuck am I? Obtaining variable explicit parental consent as may be required by law. Children over the age of 13, or other applicable minimum age in your place of residence, but under the age of 18, okay, or other applicable age of majority in your place of residence, must obtain consent from their parent or guardian before using the services. Does it mean if you're over 18 you're not the parent, then it works or doesn't? That's a little confusing. Oh, that's why. Where applicable. Interactive video games. Oh wait, did I skip something? No. Games and a game offered through the services carry a voluntary mandatory age rating identification on the packaging and online information. Yeah, that's ESRB or whatever it's called. You agree not to play or allow others to play a particular game. Of doing so violate the applicable minimal age rating in your jurisdiction. So they're saying like, hey, if your friend plays it and he's underage, it's your fault. Got it. Parents and guardians of other children under the age of 18, pretty much the same thing, or applicable age of minority in your place of residence. It's weird how they say it. I said majority. Should read these terms of services carefully before allowing children to use the services. It's your fault, not theirs. Account registration. Let's try it again. Account registration. Some features of the services may require you to register an account with Square Enix account. You are responsible for maintaining the security of your account and for all activity that occurs on your account. All activity. Doesn't matter if your little cousin plays it for 2 seconds. He's underage and he's using your account. When registering an account, you agree to the following. You will use a username or email address that impersonates or personally identifies another person or identity. Okay, people do that all the time. Use your account. Square Enix suspend or terminate your account for any time for any reason, including if Square Enix believes you have violated terms of services. Makes sense. Notwithstanding, again, the foregoing. If you live in France, okay, that's specific, then Square Enix will provide you at least 30 days of notice before terminating your account. I forgot to say 30. If you register an account, which it if you have registered an account and wish to terminate it, please contact the applicable customer support center for your region as provided in Section 11. Upon termination of your account for any reason, Square Enix reserves the right to delete the account permanently. This is going to take forever. Virtual credits. Square Enix may allow you to use virtual credits to redeem digital items and online service. Virtual credits you may have different names such as Krista coins, points, or gold. Virtual credits are not currency or property and have no monetary value. Square Enix retains all ownership of virtual credits and the absolute right to manage and change virtual credits at all licenses for digital items and services redeemed using virtual credits, and that's kind of dick. So if you bought shit, then they own the shit that's the virtual credits, then it's like you could lose your shit. I mean, I get it, but your use of virtual credits is subject to personal, non-commercial, non-exclusive, non-assignable, non-sublicensable, non-transferable, cancelable license, except where explicitly, I gotta find my place again, authorized by Square Enix, exchanging, seeking to exchange, or facilitating, here's the music again, the exchanging of virtual credits or otherwise virtual items for money or for any form of property is strictly forbidden and considered a breach of these terms and services. Where permitted by Square Enix, you may add virtual credits to the account using the applicable payment methods for the platform you are using to access the services. Makes sense. Square Enix reserves the right to adjust the price of virtual credits at any time. Doesn't, but whatever. And its sole discretion, of course, without notice of reimbursement. Nice. You are responsible for the payment of any taxes or other charges relating to the purchase or redemption of virtual credits, except where you may be required by law. You have no right to receive a refund for unused virtual credits. No rollovers. Unless you live in the European Union or have acquired use of the services in a country located in the European Union, so you can cheat your way to that, you agree not to bring a lawsuit against Square Enix or affiliate services providers licenses arising out of or related to your use of virtual credits. So in the EU, you can whatever, including any claim based on the theory of your own virtual credits or any related digital items or service, any modifications in the amount of virtual credits necessary to obtain a virtual item or service, or the removal of access of any virtual item or service, including as a result of account termination. That's interesting. Purchases of Square Enix. Purchases made through the Square Enix online store are not governed by these terms of services, but rather by the terms and conditions of sale and of other policies posted on the website applicable to your region. Currently, https://store.na.square-enix-games.com/e fucking for the for the American region, and https store.eu Square Enix and the games and the .coms and the slashing for the EMEU Asian region. If you made a purchase on the Square Enix online store and have questions about the terms and conditions applicable to your purchase, including whether you have the right to cancel an order or request a refund, please visit the appropriate Square Enix online store website for your region for more information. To the extent not governed by the aforementioned, terms and conditions and sale and other policies posted on your Square Enix online website, or by other additional terms, and without affecting your rights as a consumer under local law, the following terms shall apply to your purchases you make directly from Square Enix. If you place an order with Square Enix, they may, solely in your discretion, reject an order or limit the quantity of products you may purchase. Oh, that's kind of weird. We may also require additional information from you before accessing your order. If we accept your order, we may email you a confirmation. We will email you a confirmation notice providing relevant details on the purchase and binding contract. We will be. Oh my God, I can't speak. We may also require additional information from you before accepting your order. If we accept your order, we may email you a confirmation notice providing relevant details on the purchase and binding contract will form between you and us. I can't speak, it's so hard. If we are unable to accept your order because a product is not available, we may notify you when it becomes available again, subject to your consent. For purchases made by customers, why does it get loud all the time? Resident outside of the EU, physical products are at the risk from the time of delivery, and download products are at the risk from the time of download completes. Subject to your local law, you may not cancel or order a physical product after you receive an order confirmation, and may not cancel a digital product after you start downloading the product. For purchases made resident in the EU, these are the terms and conditions for which Square Enix provides to you, whether these goods or digital content orders for goods. After placing an order for goods, you will have a period of 14 days after the date to receive the goods and cancel your order without giving any reason. So for once, you don't have to give a reason. This right will be lost if the goods are sealed audio or sealed video recordings or sealed computer software, and the goods are unsealed after you receive them. So if you open them, you're fucked. Orders for digital content. After placing the order for the digital content, you will have a period of 14 days from the date of the order which was placed to cancel your order without giving any reason. This right shall be lost if you have begun downloading or streaming the digital content. What? If you're downloading, it's like you're not even playing the game yet. If you're streaming, whatever. If we delivered the digital content to you immediately, and you agreed to this when placing your order, you will not be able to cancel. If you wish to exercise your cancellation right, you may contact Square Enix at HTTP support Square Enix and send us the model cancellation from below. To Square Enix Limited 240 Backfires. That's the same fucking address. UK. I hereby give notice that I will withdraw my contact for the following. Insert order ID and name of product. Ordered on insert date. Received on insert date. Name of consumer. Address of consumer. Date. Loud music. Account ID. Email address associated with purchase account. You must send your communication with the applicable 14-day period of cancellation to be effective. We will refund the applicable method used for the payment within 14 days days of being notified of your wish to cancel in respect of digital content, or within 14 days from the receipt of returned products in respect of goods. Where am I at? Where you have purchased a recurring subscription to one of our services, you agree that Square Enix will process recurring payments automatically. Your subscription will continue to renew until you cancel your subscription unless stated otherwise. Prices do not include delivery charges and certain other applicable fees, which will be disclosed. I keep saying disclosed to you before you place your order. Depending on the destination, products may be subject to additional import duties, taxes, or levies, and you're responsible for the payment of all such charges. If you purchase a download product, you are responsible for any costs associated with downloading and accessing the product. Nothing in these terms of service affects your rights as consumer under local law, including your right in certain jurisdictions to cancel an order or receive a refund for a product that is defective or not as described to you, where applicable. We will provide with the details regarding your statutory cancellation rights and an explanation of how to exercise them in the order confirmation. User-generated content. Square Enix may offer you the opportunity to upload, transmit, or otherwise make available the services content you have created, user-generated content. Subject to your local law, you grant Square Enix the unrestricted worldwide irrevocable. What? Irrevocable? Okay. Perpetual and cost-free right to use, copy, modify, distribute, disclose, sell, sublicense, display, publicly perform, publish, broadcast, translate, and make what? Derivative works of, promote, and otherwise exploit your user-generated content without any compensation. Read that. Where am I? Notice or arbitration to you and allow other third parties to do the same. The maximum extent permitted by your local law. You waive any moral rights you have in the user-generated content. You're solely liable for user-generated content and submit it at your own risk. When you submit user-generated content, you agree that A, you are the sole author and owner of the rights of the user-generated content and are able to grant such rights without creation or obligation or liability to Square Enix or any third party. B, the user-generated content does not infringe any intellectual property right or other right, including rights of privacy or publicity of any third party. C, the user-generated content will not cause injury or harm to Square Enix or any third party. And D, the user-generated content does not violate the terms of service, because you never want to fucking do that, because you'll be screwed. Square Enix may, but does not have an obligation to delete, remove, edit, or refuse post user-generated in sole discretion. I forgot the word content. In sole discretion. We do not accept any liability for removing or not removing any user-generated content. I like how they have that or not removing in there. Procedure for alleging copyright infringement under the DMCA. If you believe that any content available of the services violates a copyright, you may notify Square Enix as said in the U.S. Digital Millennium Copyright Act of 1988. To do so, please send us a notice that includes the following information: a legend or subject line that says DMCA Copyright Infringement Notice, a description of copyrighted work that you claim has been infringed, or if multiple copyright works have been covered by a single notification, a list of such works, a description of the material that you claim is infringing or is the subject of infringing activity is located that is reasonably sufficient to permit us to locate the material, your name, address, telephone number, and email address, a statement by you that you have a good faith belief that the use of the material and the manner complaint is not authorized by the copyright owner, its agent, or the law. A statement by you made under penalty or perjury that all the information in the notice is accurate and that you are the copyright owner, or if you are not the copyright owner, that you authorize the act on behalf of the owner, and your electronic or physical signature. All DMCA notices must be sent to Square Enix, Attention Legal Department, 999 North Pacific Coast Highway, 3rd floor, El Segundo, California, 90245, United States. Email DMCA at squareenix.com. If we receive a notice of copyright infringement that complies with the notice requirements in this section, and we will respond in accordance with our requirements under the U.S. Digital Millennium Copyright Act of 1998 or other laws, if applicable. Please note that we share any information you provide in notice with your allegedly infringing party. You may be liable if you knowingly misrepresent that material or activity is infringing. Community guidelines. You must comply with the following guidelines. Community guidelines. When using online communities, uploading content or the service, including user-generated content, or interacting with other users of the services, you must treat other people with respect. Cursing, harassing, stalking, threatening, and making insulting comments or personal attacks about other people is prohibited. Like, you avoid your whole shit if you're just racist or mean. People always go with racism, so whatever. You must not use the services to encourage hateful or illegal contact, including crimes against humanity. Holy shit. Acts of terrorism, exploitation of children. What are we doing here? Acts of violence against women. Or why do you have to put this in here? Or any other person or group. Yeah, that makes sense. Acts of violence against any other person or group. You could just lead with that. Attacks against other humans' dignity. Okay. Or hatred of others based on their race. There we go. Religion, national origin, gender, sex, sexual preferences. Gotta throw that in there. Or disabilities. You must not use the services to distribute any content that is obscene, pornographic, defamatory, hateful, or illegal, or that violates the intellectual property rights or the rights of any person or entity. That could be your cat. Respect others' privacy. You may not reveal another person's name, address, phone number, email address, date of birth, social security number, credit card number, medical information, financial information, likeness, or any other information that can be used to identify another person. Do not impersonate another person or entity, misrepresent your identity or affiliation with another person or entity, or otherwise make statements that are false, fraudulent, or deceptive. If you discover any content or behavior that violates this section of the terms of service or is otherwise illegal or infringing, please report it by us. God damn it. Please report it to us by contacting the customer service center designated for your region in section 11. Please note that we have the right, but not the obligation, to monitor the services. We accept no liability for content or behavior you encounter on the services. They accept no liability, but at the same time, they're like, hey, do the stuff, or like, you're violating the terms of service. That's contradictory. I don't know. Customer service requests. For questions and other customer service requests, please contact the relevant customer service center below. For American Region HTTP support at squareenix.com. For the EMEA Asia region, other than China, Japan, Mongolia, Republic of Korea, Taiwan, Laos, Thailand, Hong Kong, Vietnam, the Philippines, Brunei, I said that wrong, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Cambodia, or Macau, said that wrong too. And for English language questions and customer service requests from outside the American region, HTTP support EU, squareenix and shit.com. For China, Japan, Mongolia, Republic of Korea, Taiwan, Laos, Thailand, Hong Kong, Vietnam, the Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Cambodia, or Macau. Aside from English language queries, HTTP support microsoft.gp-squarenix.com. Dealings with third parties. A third-party software and service. The services may give the option to access third-party websites, software service advertisements, or other third-party materials. We do not endorse or control such third-party materials, as we are not responsible for your interactions with them. When accessing any third-party materials, you may carefully read any applicable terms of service and privacy policies. Apple. If you are accessing or using an application as operators published by Square Enix and post links to these terms of services through an Apple device running iOS app, the following additional terms are applicable if you are incorporated into these terms of service by this reference. You acknowledge that these terms of service are concluded between you and Square Enix only, and that Square Enix and not Apple is responsible for providing the services and any content thereof. You may only access an iOS through Apple branded products that you own or control. Oh, they're extending, okay. Or control as permitted by the usage rules. That an iOS app may be accessed and used by other accounts associated with you via family sharing or volume purchasing. You acknowledge that Apple has no obligation to furnish any maintenance or support services to you with respect to any iOS app. To the extent that any maintenance or support is required under applicable law, Square Enix and not Apple is obligated to provide such maintenance and support. In the event a warranty obligation is not disclaimed under these terms of service, or additional terms and or cannot be disclaimed under applicable law, Square Enix and not Apple is responsible for providing such warranty. If an iOS app fails to conform to applicable warranty, you may notify Apple, and Apple will refund the purchase price for the iOS app to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. Apple will have no other warranty obligation whatsoever with respect to an iOS app. Notwithstanding a third time anything to the contrary herein, you acknowledge that solely as between Apple and Square Enix is responsible for addressing any claims you may have relating to the services, including A. product liability claims, B. any claim that the services fail to conform to any applicable legal or regulatory requirement, and C. claims arising under customer protection or similar legislation. If services are alleged to infringe a third party's intellectual property rights, Square Enix and not Apple is responsible for the investigation, defense, settlement, and discharge of any such intellectual property infringement claims. You agree to comply with any third party terms applicable to your use of an iOS app. You acknowledge and agree that Apple and Apple subsidiaries are third-party beneficiaries of the terms of services, and that Apple has the right to enforce this Section 12B against you as a third-party beneficiary thereof. Well, that's kind of a big move, but whatever. Microsoft, let's cover their ass. Microsoft, if you are accessing, we're done with Apple. I need to take a break. This is killing me. I need a beer. Where am I at, Microsoft? I haven't did a terms of service video in forever. I don't even know if my mic is working. I hope so. I've been talking for 33 minutes. But yeah, I forgot it was this song. Holy shit. Someone do some music, some background music. Oh wait, the game is. I'm like halfway there. I can maybe do this. Microsoft. If you are accessing or using the services through a Microsoft video game platform or service, Xbox One, Xbox Live. The following additional terms are applicable to you and are incorporated into these terms of services by this reference. To the maximum extent allowed by applicable law, Microsoft and its affiliates A. have no warranty obligations whatsoever with respect to the services, and B. have no liability to you for any claims or damages relating to the services. And shit. Microsoft and its affiliates have no obligation to provide you with any support for the services or with any other additional services. Nothing in these terms of services is intended to A. prevent or limit your access to any software product intended for your use or a Microsoft video game platform. Hold on, I'm trying to find my cigarette, I'm not looking. Including with respect to any related updates or digital content, or B. govern or change in any way your relationship with Microsoft under Microsoft's applicable agreements with you, including the Microsoft Live terms of use. D. Sony. This is where I come in. If you are accessing or using the services through a Sony video game platform or service, Sony PlayStation 4, PlayStation Network, the following additional terms are applicable to you and incorporated into these terms of services by this reference. I. You acknowledge that these terms of service are a contract between you and Square Enix and not agreement between you and Sony Interactive Entertainment Incorporated or any of its affiliate companies, collectively Sony. Square Enix and not Sony is responsible for the services. Sounding like Apple here. You are granted limited license and use only on a Sony system that you own or control. I control it and own it. Or that delivers the services to you via PlayStation Network. Okay. Sony is considered a third-party beneficiary of Square Enix under these terms of services. For users in Brazil, Canada, Mexico, or the United States, the following additional terms apply. Why? A. Purchase and use of items are subject to the PlayStation Network terms of service and user agreement, and B. This online service has been sub-licensed to you by Sony Interactive Entertainment America. Yeah, because I know they're not the main Sony. Or mine. Oh my god. For users in Australia, what? That's so weird. Whatever. For users in Australia, Austria, Belgium, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, India, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Kuwait, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Slovenia, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, or Ukraine, the following additional terms apply. It's really kind of all over the place, but A. Any content purchased any content purchased in an in-game store will be purchased from Sony Interactive Entertainment Network Europe Limited. Cine, S-I-E-N-E, Cine, that's what I'm calling it. Signing! And subject to PlayStation Network terms of service and user agreement, which is available on the PlayStation Store. B. Please check usage rights for each purchase as these may differ from item to item. And C. Unless otherwise shown, content available in any in-game store has the same age rating as the game. I get what they're saying, so it's not like, oh, the game's like 13, but like this item here is like mature. Okay, that's weird, but I get it. Wireless features. These services may allow you to access certain features via your wireless device, such as the ability to upload content to services, receive messages from the services, or download applications. Please note that the carrier may charge messaging, data, and other fees to such wireless features and may also prohibit the use may also prohibit you from using certain features of the services. Binding arbitration and waiver of class actions. Ooh, no class action lawsuits, apparently. Smoking a cigarette. Unless you live in the EU and or using the services in the European Union, or except where otherwise prohibited by your local law, the following section 14 shall apply to any controversy. That sounds weird. Let's go back. The following section 14 shall apply to any controversy, oh my god, I can't say words, controversy, allegation, or claim between you and Square Enix that arises out of or relates to the terms of services or your use of services, collectively a dispute. If you are located in the EU and you have submitted a dispute, it's capped now, for online resolution to the European Commission Online Dispute Resolution Platform, information on which is currently available at the following links: eceuropa.eu, info, live, work, travel, EU, consumers resolve your consumer complaint, EN. Oh my god, I'm not gonna remember that. Good thing I don't live in the EU, I guess. In the event of a dispute, the aggrieved party shall send the other party a written notice that includes the name, address, and contact information of the party given notice, as well as a description of the dispute and the proposed resolution. Well, that's neat. To notify Square Enix of a dispute, please send the notice to the physical mailing address for your region as set forth in Section 1. Yeah. With attention to the legal department. For a period of 60 days, following a party is received of notice of the dispute, Square Enix and you shall attempt to resolve the dispute informally. If you and Square Enix cannot resolve the dispute within 60 days, then the aggrieved party may initiate binding arbitration as the sole means to resolve the dispute. Oh, I gotta start yelling. With arbitration, there is no judge or jury. The arbitration is subject to certain confidentiality rules, and judicial review of the arbitration outcome is limited. Any arbitration proceeding shall be conducted by JAMS before one neutral arbitrator pursuant to JAMS streamlined arbitration rules and procedures and subject to the applicable law and venue for your region as set forth in Section 18B of these terms of service. The JAMS consumer arbitration minimum standards will apply if you are a consumer as defined by JAMS, which includes the right to an in-person hearing in your hometown area. That's weird. I mean, maybe not. Where permitted by the arbitrator, Square Enix agrees that you may appear at the arbitration process by telephone. Okay, that's more weird. Discovery will be permitted pursuant to the applicable arbitration rules. All parties to the arbitration will have the right at their own expense, to be represented by an attorney or other advocate of their choosing. You and Square Enix will pay the arbitration fees and other costs in accordance with the applicable arbitration rules. If applicable arbitration rules or laws require Square Enix to pay a greater portion of such fees and costs in order for this Section 14 to be enforceable, then Square Enix may pay such fees and costs and proceed to arbitration. The arbitrator's decision may consist of a written statement stating the disposition of the claim of the dispute and must provide an award, if any. I like that. May be entered by any court that has jurisdiction over the parties. Okay, yeah, it's all iffy. This Section 14 does not preclude either party from seeking remedies in small claims court for a dispute within the scope of such court's jurisdiction. Okay, so they can do it. This Section 14 does not apply to any legal action taken by Square Enix to seek an injunction or other equitable, is that, am I reading words right, relief in connection with any actual or potential loss, cost, or damage relating to the services. Nor does this Section 14 apply to any controversy, allegation, or claim regarding the processing of personal information transmitted to Square Enix in the United States from the from the European Union, European Economic Area, or Switzerland. For any inquiry or complaint concerning any such transfer of personal information, please follow the procedures providing in Square Enix privacy policy. Alright, that's confusing me a little bit. I think it's saying, like, if you're here and where I'm at in the US and, like, people from other places get your shit, then it's like a separate thing. Where the fuck was I? Oh, I gotta yell. Disputes will be arbitrated only on an individual basis and will not be consolidated with any other arbitration or other proceeding that involves any claim or controversy of any other party. In the event that this class action waiver is held to be illegal or unenforceable, then our agreement to arbitrate will not apply and the dispute must be brought exclusively in court on an individual basis. If the arbitration provisions of Section 14 are found to be unenforceable for any reason, you agree that the venue for any dispute between you and us shall be the applicable court in Section 18B based on your region. 15. Disclaimer of representations and warranties. Your use of the services is at your sole risk. Square Enix disclaims and makes no representations or warranties as to the services, including whether the services are free from viruses or other malicious content. Will interoperate? Okay. Will interoperate or be compatible with any third-party hardware or software, will be in error-free, uninterrupted, or available at all times. Wow, they're milking this one. Will meet your requirements or are lawful in any particular jurisdiction to the maximum extent permitted by law. Square Enix disclaims all express and implied warranties, including warranties of merchantability, that's a word I didn't know, fitness for a particular purpose, and non-infringement. Some jurisdictions limit God damn it. Some jurisdictions limit or not allow the disclaimer of implied or other warranties, in which case the foregoing disclaimers may not apply to you. If you live in, have bought, or use the services in a jurisdiction that provides statutory or other guarantees under applicable law, I'm dying. I can't yell all this. Nothing in this agreement is intended to limit those rights. Oh my god, that's like a whole paragraph of yelling. Where am I? Did I go too far? Limitations of liability. Oh, fuck. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, Square Enix and its employees, directors, officers, managers, shareholders, agents, vendors, licensors, licensees, contractors, representatives, okay. Successors and assigns the Square Enix parties are not responsible or liable for any losses or damages of any kind, including direct, indirect, economic, exemplary, special, punitive, incidental, or consequential losses or damages that are the result of the related to. Oh my god, I get it. 1. Your use of or inability to use the services or the performance of the services. 2. Games, products, content, user-generated content, or any other functions, features, elements, or information on, referenced at, or linked, or made accessible through the services. 3. Any action taken in connection with an investigation by the Square Enix parties or law enforcement authorities regarding your access to or use of the services. 4. Any action taken in connection with copyright or other intellectual property owners or other rights owners. 5. Any errors or omissions in the service's technical operations. 6. Any damage to your or another person's device, hardware, software, or other equipment or technology, including damage from any security breach, virus, bug, tampering, fraud, error, omission, interruption, defect, delay in operation or transmission, computer line, network failure, or any technical or other malfunction. Or 7. Your inability or failure to comply with these terms of services for any reason to the fullest extent permitted by applicable law. In no event will the Square Enix parties totally liable to you for all possible damages, losses, and causes of action exceed an amount equal to the amount you have paid. I can't read. Square Enix over the preceding 12 months. Nothing in these terms affects your legal rights and your placement of residence in the event of conflict between your rights under applicable local law and these terms of services. Your rights under applicable local law will prevail. I am dying, dude. I gotta take a piss. How many more do I have to go? I'll finish this one. Oh, fuck it. Nobody does this. That's the point. That's why this video's here. Nobody fucking does this. If you're located in the European Union or another jurisdiction that does not allow the exclusion or limitation or incidental or consequential damages of sort that are described in section 16, then such exclusions and limitations may not apply to you. Nothing in these terms of services in any way limits your liability to you for 1. Death or personal injury caused by our negligence. 2. Fraud or fraudulent misrepresentation. That's a good point. 3. Breach of any implied by applicable law, including the Consumer Rights Act 2015 in the United Kingdom, that may not be limited to or excluded, or 4. Any other liability that, by law, may be limited or excluded. Music. Can I make you chill? Like you're cool most of the time. Subject to this, in no event shall be liable to you for any business losses, and any liability we do for losses you suffer arising from any contract shall not. I said that weird. In respect of any 12-month period as calculated from the date of the contract, exceed the charges payable by you for the relevant service in the 12-month period, or include any losses were responsibly foreseeable. I skipped that. Losses are considered foreseeable where they could have been contemplated by you and us at the time we accepted your order. So it's pretty specific about that. Waiver of injunctive and other inequitable relief. I'm gonna take a piss, I'll come back with that one. Have fun listening to loud ass music. And I'm back. Now I gotta yell, but I don't know if I'm ready. Oh, wait, where was I? Waiver of injunctive and other equitable relief. Oh shit, I gotta. If you if you claim to have incurred any losses, damages, or inquiries that will not be irreparable or sufficient to entitle you to an injunction or other equitable relief, this means that, in connection with your claim, you agree that you will not seek any court or other action that may interfere with or prevent the development or exploitation of any product, game, service, or other intellectual property owned, licensed, used, or controlled by Square Enix. Additional provisions. A. Updates to terms of service. Square Enix reserves the right to modify these terms of service at any time, including by does that say posting? Posting updated terms on the services subject to applicable law. By continuing to use the services after any such update, you consent to the changes to the terms of service. Alright. You may be asked to affirmatively consent to updates to these terms of services and may be prevented from continuing to use the service if you decline to accept such an update. Yeah, that's alright. B. Applicable law and venue. Except as stated otherwise, these terms of service will be governed by the resolve in accordance with the following. If you are in the American region, these terms of service will be governed by the laws of the state of California, United States, subject to the exclusive jurisdiction of the state and federal courts located in Los Angeles, California, United States. That's awkward and specific, but I thought they said local shit. I guess it's different because, whatever, they're trying to be specific. Here we go again. If you are in the EMEA, Asia region, these terms of service will be governed by English law, except that if you live in a country of the European Union other than England, which for the purpose of this paragraph includes Scotland and Northern Ireland. Why didn't you say EU? Or EU. Why didn't you say UK? Whatever. Because there's Australia and a bunch of subsidiaries. Whatever. There may be certain mandatory applicable laws of your country that apply for your benefit and protection in addition to or instead of certain provisions of English law. You agree that any dispute between you and us regarding these terms or any contract will only be proceedings either in your country or in England. If you live in the European Union and we bring legal proceedings against you, oh, okay, that's different. We must do so in your country. Okay, cool. The European Union Online Dispute Resolution Platform, currently available at HTTP, AC, Europa, EU, Consumers, ODR, provides information about burping and alternative dispute resolution, which can be loud music of interest to you. C. Indemnity? I'm learning here. Maybe. You agree to defend, indemnify, reimburse, and hold harmless what? The Square Enix properties from and against any and all claims, demands, losses, liabilities, or expenses, including attorney's fees, incurred in connection with your user-generated content. What? We're back to this? Use of services, okay. Violation of these terms, services, or violation of any person or entity's intellectual properties, rights, or other rights. What was that? We retain the exclusive right to assume the defense and control of any matter that is otherwise subject to indemnification by you under this paragraph, and you agree to cooperate with Square Enix in asserting any available defenses. D. Export controls. You will not export, re-export, or otherwise download or transfer the services to any country. Wait. Am I doing that right now? Jurisdiction or person, if doing so violate the export control laws of the United States or another country. I don't know if I'm violating shit. You're responsible for complying with all applicable trade regulations, laws, and export controls. I'm still probably saying it wrong. Without limiting the foregoing. You represent the warrant that you are not located in a country that is subject to the U.S. government embargo, okay, or that is designated by the U.S. government as a terrorist supporting country. And 2, you are not listed to any U.S. government list prohibited or restricted properties. I mean, that makes sense. E. Severe ability. That's, I didn't even know you could just take words and just throw these shit at the end and it's like another word. Anyways, if any provision of terms of service is found to be invalid, unlawful, void, or unenforceable, then that provision will be deemed servable. Is it servable or severable? Whatever. And its invalidity will not affect the validity or enforceability of the remaining of the terms of services. So if one little part's like, oh, we fucked up, we got a typo, or we worded that wrong, it doesn't like fuck up the whole thing, is what my interpretation is. Oh, by the way, interpretation. To the extent permitted by applicable law, you waive any rights under applicable statutory or common law that may permit a contract to be construed against its drafter. Wherever the word including is used in these terms of service, it is deemed to mean including without limitation. Wow. So they can add new shit and later on it's like, including this too. Cooperation with law enforcement, subject to applicable law, of course. Square Enix reserves the right to involve and cooperate with law enforcement authorities in investigating any matters at any time without notice to you or without receipt of formal subpoena, search warrant, or other legal process. You acknowledge and agree that Square Enix may provide your electronic communications and data. Whoa. including emails and chat logs, to such law enforcement authorities without any liability to you or any third party. I mean, maybe if you're a streamer, there's like some extra guidelines that I might have went over earlier that I don't understand, unless prohibited by law. See, there we go. There's your loophole. Survival. Does that say survival? H, survival. In the events that these terms of services are terminated, then any terms that by their nature apply after such termination shall survive. Okay, so we get rid of these terms of services, but we got these new, different ones, including the rights for licenses you grant to Square Enix, indemnities, releases, disclaimers, limitations of liability, and provisions regarding jurisdiction, choice of law, no class action, if applicable in your country. Applicable. See, I still do it. And mandatory arbitration, if applicable in your country. Assignment. I. Square Enix may assign its rights and obligations under these terms of service in whole or in part to any person or entity at any time without notice to you. You may not assign these terms of service without our prior written consent. Wow. No waiver. J. Whatever. No waiver. Waiver. No failure or delay by you or Square Enix in exercising any rights, powers, or remedies, will operate as a waiver. So even if you're like, hey, if you just like fix this glitch, like I won't like exploit it, they're like, no, doesn't count. And no waiver of any term of these terms. Wait, what? Let me go back. No waiver. No failure or delay by you or Square Enix in exercising any rights, powers, or remedies will operate as a waiver. And no waiver of any term of these terms of services will be effective unless in writing and signing the party against whom the waiver is sought to be enforced. Okay. Entire agreement. Shouldn't that be last? These terms of service, together with the privacy notice, additional terms, and any other terms of use relevant to your use of the services, constitute the entire understanding and agreement between the parties with respect to your use of the services, and supersede any and all prior or contemporaneous oral or written communications. Sorry, I didn't want to fuck it up. I think I got it. L. Third-party rights. Except as expressly indicated herein, these terms of services are not intended to confer any rights or remedies on any person other than the parties to these terms of service, except for any Square Enix party may enforce any right or remedy expressly. Oh man, I just read that like twice, didn't I? What's happening? Let me try that again. Third-party rights. Except as expressly indicated here, and these terms of services are not intended to confer any rights or remedies on any person other than the parties to these terms of services, except that any Square Enix party may enforce any right or remedy expressly conferred on such Square Enix party under these terms of service. M. Plugin licenses / content protection. The services may incorporate certain third-party plugins and / or content protection technology, which are governed by the open source licenses. That's kind of neat, and other provisions ascribed to them. A list of third-party plugins / or protection technology used by the services can be found at the following URL as the date below. HTTPS, Square Enix Games, and GB documents, plugin licenses, content protection. There's hyphens and shit. Fuck off. Last updated the 5th of August, 2020. Alright, I did it. I kinda read all the terms and services of services terms. So now you don't have to. That sucked. Good night. Alright, this is where it takes me like 5 seconds to turn off the broadcast. How do you do this? Alright, peace out.